Welcome back. The former president, Donald Trump, wasting no time criticizing his main opponent in the Republican primary, at least for now, the Florida governor, Ron DeSantis, even before he officially announced his candidacy for the 2024 Republican presidential nomination earlier this week. The latest poll shows Trump ahead of DeSantis by 42 points in the first in the nation caucus, the state of Iowa. But that was taken before DeSantis officially entered the race. But now that he's officially on the campaign trail, how will the governor approach the former president and respond to his attacks? Joining us now is Alex Thompson, national political correspondent for Axios. Alex, thanks for being here. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Yeah, kind of an interesting week, right? Tim Scott gets in the race. Ron DeSantis makes it official. And it sort of feels like here we are. It was kind of like the unofficial kickoff. We got the unofficial start of summer with Memorial Day. Where do you think we are right now in the cycle, and what do you make of where things actually are?
You know, we're near the very end of this field really forming. I would still look out for potential announcements from former Vice President Mike Pence and former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. But we are basically seeing what the field is going to look like. And so far it is Trump and then everybody else. Now, Ron DeSantis was hoping that this would just be clearly a two-person race right from the beginning. But as you pointed out there, not just the national polling, which, you know, national polling this far out, it's not really clear how much that matters. But the polling, even in the early states, show that Trump is dominating this Republican field. And Ron DeSantis, who had really strong poll numbers coming out of that landslide victory in the last midterm elections, has gradually seen his polling decline over the last 5 months, and no one is scared of him, and that's why more people are joining the race.
Yeah, you know, that's exactly what I was gonna mention to you. It almost seems like because Ron DeSantis, like, do you think he's capped right now at that 20% number, and is that why more people are jumping in, because they say, hey, if something happens to Donald Trump legally, and Ron DeSantis potentially has this cap of about 20% of Republicans, somewhere around there, is that why we're seeing Chris Christie potentially, Francis Suarez, Tim Scott, Mike Pence? You can go down the list. Why we're starting to see more folks jump in?
You know, I don't think his number actually is capped at 20%, because he's trying to meld together sort of the never Trump Republican coalition and peel off, you know, in an ideal state, you know, half the Trump wing as well. And so I actually think he has a high ceiling. I think what has happened, though, is that he's been ground down these past 5 months. And some of it has been because of attacks from Donald Trump and from, you know, these media narratives around his perceived awkwardness, you know, donors potentially getting cold feet, and his poll numbers just declining. And so I think there's been, and honestly, some self-inflicted mistakes that, you know, in some cases seemed
Disney one of them? Disney one of those self-inflicted mistakes?
Disney is absolutely one of those self-inflicted mistakes. You know, the Disney legal team under Bob Iger has clearly, you know, managed to outflank Ron DeSantis on a few cases and has caught the administration off guard. You also saw him sort of go back and forth in his position on Ukraine. And then, of course, this week, you know, doing your first campaign launch event and then having technical glitches for the first 30 minutes, you know, it has basically shaken the confidence of a lot of people that were ready to invest in him as the clear Trump alternative.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.